Welcome back, everyone, to Stadiacast, your source for all the Stadia news that you need to know about. This is where you want to go. You want to come right here. You want to listen to me and that guy right over there. That's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, man. I'm ready to play more games. I'm hopeful that we get some announcements soon. Because I'm making my way. I'm on like the last boss of Borderlands 3 and ready to beat that. And I love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
That's nothing to do with what I was just talking about. And then I have Red Dead Redemption to play. And then I need to play some more games. So hopefully we get some stuff soon, some announcements soon.
I hope so. I mean, here, before we jump in on that, we record the show live. Go to youtube.com/Stadiacast. If you're listening to the audio show and you want to participate in the video show, go to youtube.com/Stadiacast. Hang out with the live chat there. There's usually a lot of people there hanging out with us, and it's awesome. We record it Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. So make sure that you join us. And if you want to directly support the show, if you want to make absolutely sure that we see your message and that we talk about it on the show, use the super chat feature. We already had some people using the super chat feature or becoming members, and both of those things do support the show. We'll talk about the super chats in our crowd play section, which is after the news. But that's one way to make sure that we see what you want us to talk about. So that super chat feature really does help. Before we get started, we've got a thing. It's called What We've Been Playing. Lloyd, you said that you've been playing lots of Borderlands 3. Now, I did a live stream on Thursday. I usually on Thursdays I do something called open mic, where we just kind of sit around and chat and talk about what the community wants to talk about. Usually those are like at Thursdays at 3 p.m. So if you want to join us there, that's awesome. But Lloyd was there because he was at work and he was watching, and he was I'm sure he was also working.
I was
Lloyd's
listening.
Boss. He was listening. There we go. Listening. Yeah. He was listening, and he ended up sending me a message later in the day telling me, because I had asked him and he couldn't really respond because he was busy at work. And I asked him, how many hours do you have in Borderlands 3? So Lloyd, you looked it up, didn't you? How many hours do you have in Borderlands 3?
It's almost 40. Well, it's probably over 40 hours now. It was at like 39 hours. It was like one day, 14 hours and 97 or 57 minutes or something when I looked at my character selection screen, and I was like, that's a lot of time. Like there must be a reason for why this is happening. So I went and I looked on howlongtobeat.com. And it says to beat the main campaign, it's around 40 hours. And it's like, oh, okay. So I guess maybe it's not too far out of left field that my 40-hour playtime. But yeah, I'm right at the final boss, I think. And it's right around 40 hours. And I'm just absolutely loving the game. I found a gun I found grenades, and a gun, but I found grenades that when you throw it, they actually shoot bullets at the person that they're flying towards. And I'm like, why hasn't anybody thought of a grenade that shoots bullets before? This is amazing. And a couple guns that you toss at people and they shoot as they're flying towards. It's just, the game is just so ridiculous, and I love every second of it.
As somebody who has thrown grenades before, the idea of a grenade that shoots bullets while it's in the air is quite possibly the worst idea I have ever heard in my life. So I'm going to veto that, Lloyd. I'm going to veto that, and I'm going to say that's a bad idea. They're already scary enough to throw by themselves. So
I meant
thank you.
Video game form, not real life form. They shouldn't be thrown at all in real life form. Around me anyway. Yeah. But video game form, they're okay.
Yes, in video game form, all the bullets, all the time. That's awesome. The idea, like when you sent me the message that you had been playing for more than a day in the game, and like the game, like we didn't buy the game when it first came out. We bought it how long ago? Like, because we both kind of bought it at the same time. It wasn't on launch day.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I bought it. Well, whenever the sale was, I think I bought it immediately when it was on sale.
Right.
And I think it was on sale right when it dropped here. I didn't play it right away because I had some other games to play, but I think I bought it immediately when it was on sale.
Yeah. But when you told me that you had put that many hours into it and you still hadn't finished it, that actually kind of pushed me away from playing it a little bit. I looked
Oh
at that
no.
and I was like, I'm never going to get to the end of this damn campaign. Like, Lloyd is putting in, like, he's got an extra job right now. On his resume, it says, tech guy, super nerd, and mech driver in Promethea, or whatever the name of the planet
Right.
is. Um, that's insane. And I know, like, people in chat are like, 40 hours are rookie numbers. I get you. That scares me away. Like, I don't know that I'm ever going to get any further. And I just wish. Okay, so Borderlands 3 is Diablo with guns, you know?
Hmm.
And what would make me extremely happy is if there was a way for me to just say, all right, screw the story. I don't care anymore. I just want to do random stuff like in Diablo 3. Diablo 3 has this mode, which I can't. What's the name of the mode? Do you remember?
To just go and just fight things.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's
Um,
called adventure mode.
yeah, there's the adventure mode where you can kind of jump throughout the story and just go fight bosses. And if you do that 5 times, you get this big loot cache,
Yeah.
which usually will contain some decent weapons and some equipment or items that you can use to craft other equipment if you didn't get what you really wanted.
Yeah. I wish that Borderlands had that mode.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and, and maybe it does. Maybe that's what like. I've heard that there's like true Vault Hunter mode or something like that.
yeah.
I haven't unlocked that yet, I believe, because I think I have to beat the game first. But I would really like to. I would like to play that game and just be done with the story completely so that I could just focus on the gameplay, because the moment to moment gameplay is really fun. Now, Jem in chat is saying Borderlands 3 has a dungeon mode under the social tab. Okay, well, they kind of buried that, so maybe I'll go in and check that out in
Yeah,
the future.
there's like a wave battle mode, and then there's a different mode that you can jump into right away. It is really buried. It's off the social menu. So instead of going to like new game, it's you go to social and then you go to the second tab, I think it is, and then there's a bunch of things that you can choose. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And just be clear, I don't have that much time to play video games, so this 40 hours is a bit of an outlier, but I did play a lot before I went back to work. So I had full days when no one was home, so I had like a whole day to sit there and just do nothing but play video games like I was a teenager again. And that was a hell of a lot of fun. And I mean, you can play an hour or two at a time and just make your way through the main campaign. I've been doing a lot of side questing. I've been trying to 100% all the worlds that I'm on, so finding all the hidden stuff that's on all the worlds. So that's taking on a lot of my time, is all these other things that I'm doing. If you mainline the campaign, I think that 40 hours is a little bit long, from a estimate to beat it, because if I know I spent so much time doing side questing things, so if I didn't do that, it would probably be closer to 30 that where I'd be at. So you can just spend a little bit of time here and there, and you don't have to feel too worried that you're going to be spending your whole entire life playing this video game, because the story is fantastic. And as you get near the end of the game, it really starts to pay off. And it was spoilers, if no one listened, went over to res.tv, my site, and checked out my game of the year 2019 that I did with my buddy Will. Borderlands 3 was my game of the year for 2019, even though I didn't complete it because I got to the last boss battle and before we did the show. I just absolutely love the game, and I have played all the other ones, and for some reason this one just is, it's better in all aspects for me. Maybe it's, as people in the chat room are saying, zero load time. Like CMR in the chat room says, 40 hours spent on gaming and zero on downloads and updates. And maybe that's it. I'm not downloading a huge amount of data for the game and then updating it. I tell my G box home to start the game, and then I'm playing the game within 15 seconds. So it's been pretty fantastic.
It has. Now, you've been playing as Mose. Are you going to go through and play the other characters as well, or do you need a break?
Once I beat his mows, I'm gonna try to 100% all the little stops, probably as mows. But then I'll probably jump in like I've done with every other Borderlands. Is I beat the game with a character and then jump in at a harder difficulty with other characters just to get a taste for what those other characters are like. I'll probably check out some of those other modes to see if there's ways to upgrade a little bit quicker. Like if I could start at like level 30 and get a big chunk of my skills unlocked right at the start, that would probably make those other characters a lot more fun to dabble with. But yeah, I'm probably going to keep playing it, and I'm looking forward to when the Mad Moxie DLC comes out and the rest of the DLC that they're promising for this game. Yeah, I really dig this game. It's been quite the joy to play.
So did you buy like the whole shebang, or did you just focus on the main part? Like, because it was on sale, like all the parts were on sale. Did you just buy like the main thing?
Yeah, I didn't buy the DLC or whatever, the like deluxe edition or whatever that came with the DLC the DLC pack. I didn't do that one because I didn't know if I was going to really like this one, because I had heard on a lot of podcasts that it's more of the same and it doesn't really innovate, and I don't know what those people were talking about. It's more of the same, just like Final Fantasy is more of the same, and just like Mario games are more of the same. It's the same game. They're not going to change what Borderlands is, but what they've done to simplify everything and just polish all the rough edges has been a great thing to experience.
All right. Well, I haven't really been playing anything this week. I had stuff going on pretty much every day, and then on Thursday I did the open mic. So I think what I played most this week was Final Fantasy 15, and even that was just a little tiny bit. And then, and that was pretty much it for Stadia. Like I would load up Borderlands and play a little bit, and then something would distract me, and I'd have to go do something else. So I really didn't get to spend much time in it. The game that I played the most this week, and this is saying something, is Pokemon Sword and Shield on my Switch.
Nice.
And when I say most, I think I spent maybe 2 hours this week playing that game. That's it. So I haven't played anything this week. I've just been making content and doing my other stuff. So I need to get back in there and play some more stuff. Now, before we get much further, I almost forgot. If you follow us on Twitter, I'm at Run Jump Stomp. He's Dasme. You're going to be doing yourself a favor, because sometime during the show, I already sent the tweet, so it's going to go out sometime during the show. It's a scheduled tweet, but sometime during the show, I'm going to be giving away a buddy pass, and Lloyd will probably be giving away a buddy pass as well. And we're going to continue to give out buddy passes throughout the week. So follow us on Twitter. All right, let's talk about the silence. The silence is deafening with Google Stadia. If we go to their community, what's the word I'm looking for, their community webpage, community.stadia.com, the last post, all right, the last post from them is on December 20th, and here we are. It is now January 12th, and nothing. Crickets. Just absolute crickets. 100% crickets. There's nothing. They're not saying anything. And is it driving you crazy, Lloyd?
It is. We joked about this a little while ago. It's like we're doing updates every day, and then it's like, oh, we're not going to do updates very often. We're going to do once a week, and then they continue to do every day, and it's like, haha, they don't know what they're doing. Haha, oh, this is funny. And then they go completely radio silent, and it's like, oh damn, maybe we shouldn't have joked about this, because now it's become a reality where they're really not doing anything. I think it's probably a lot to do with just people on vacation after the holidays, so they went away for Christmas or whatever holiday they celebrate, and then New Year's, and now they're back and they got all their irons in the fire, and they're getting ready to launch a bunch of new features, hopefully, and that's why the radio silent. Hopefully it's not because they have nothing to talk about, because that would be a bad thing. But we know that they have a whole bunch of features that they're still waiting to roll out. So that's going to be something that is going to be coming over the next few months. All the other features that they promised, we've already seen little little teases of a number of them. So hopefully that's just what it is their nose to the grindstone, irons in the fire, whatever analogy you want me to use that's been overused in the world, and that they're just gonna hit the ground running. I'm hopeful for next week. Like it's far enough away from New Year's that maybe they're gonna drop a bunch of new stuff, but that's just maybe me with hopeful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, during my open mic on Thursday, people were asking when do I think we're going to get more information from Google, and I said I predict that we'll get a Connect in the next 2 weeks. I would be very sad if I were wrong about that. It's not the end of the world if I were wrong about that, but I really want to hear something. And it's funny, like Google, it's like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. You just kind of talked about it. You know, you said, "Oh, they they made a bunch of posts and we all made fun of them, and now they're not saying anything and we're all making fun of them. We're like, these guys don't have anything, you know." So it's like no matter what they do, we find a way to criticize it, and that's probably why people will say that I have had equal parts of people calling me a Stadia hater and a Stadia fanboy or paid shill. Um, we're just always honest about our opinions with it. And when they do things that we think are bad, we're going to take them to task on it. And when they do things that we think are awesome, we're going to praise them for it. That's just the way it's always been. I want to take a minute. Just sit right there. No, I'm not sorry. I won't do that. I want to take a minute and
Nice.
I want to talk about the Twitter team. The people who are in charge of the Twitter account, or more specifically, the computer that is in charge of their Twitter account this is bad. This is absolutely, it's just bad. It is clearly a bot, and the bot is not screening the things that, or there's not a human screening the things that the bot is saying. And so it's this formulaic stuff over and over and over again. And sometimes I'm just like, what are you like? Why would they put something so important in the hands of AI? And yes, I'm the first to admit that Google's AI is infinitely superior to everything else that's out there. I have tried Amazon. I have tried Siri, and I have tried the Google Assistant. And of the three, the Google Assistant is far and away way smarter than the other stuff. But for them to decide to put the front-facing communication with people on the ground in the hands of a bot, and I'm look, I would feel real bad if I was wrong about this, that it's not a bot, but for them to do that in the hands of a bot, I just think is almost what's the word? Irresponsible. You know, like what are they thinking? Have you been seeing these tweets from the bot that are just clearly a bot?
I have, and I don't know if it's really a bot, if they're using some sort of AI to reply to these, or if they just have they have like a Twitter dashboard so that when people ask questions, one of their techs can take ownership of that problem, solve it up, whatever, however they're going to solve it, or just give the same old random or same old canned reply. And then a couple days later, you get that DM that has praying hands and a thumbs up hand or a pencil or whatever it is. And everyone's like, what the hell is this? I think that's maybe part of whatever tool that they're using for CSR. So they see a tweet, they click a button, and it pre-fills out some of the stuff based on maybe knowledge base. So maybe it's just bad databasing that has all these canned solutions for these problems that these customer service reps are I don't know, just auto replying or whatever based on an action from a CSR rep. I want to think it's that, unless just they're unleashing a Twitter bot, because we've seen Twitter bots that learn and they don't learn good things. So hopefully that's not it for Google Stadia.
Yeah. I do want to say that sometimes it's clear that it's a person, and then sometimes it's clear that it's a canned response. And Jack in chat is saying the robotic answers do not annoy me. The misinformation their Twitter gives is a huge problem. And I think that the misinformation that their Twitter gives is due to them using the canned responses. Those
Mhm.
canned robotic responses are putting out bad information.
Yeah.
For instance, there was a tweet, and I should have grabbed it for the show notes, but I didn't. But there was a tweet from the official Google Stadia that said something along the lines of, "Hey, you're going to be able to play Cyberpunk 2077 in April," and everybody was like, "Oh, I didn't think it was coming to Stadia on the same day as the other consoles. Is it?" And then I think the response was something along the lines of, "We understand that you're excited. Or we're going to try and have a robust whatever." And I was just like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" If you don't know when something's coming out, then don't open your mouth because, according to everybody else, it's not coming alongside the other consoles and PC. It's coming later in the year. I mean, for crying out loud, right now you cannot even pre-order it. I'm going to jump ahead in the show notes a little bit. Usually we save all of the feedback from you guys for the crowd play section, but I got a tweet from Lord Chips, which is a very funny name. I like that name. And they said, Cyberpunk may not be released on Stadia the same date as other platforms. Stadia's Twitter confirmed there's no official release date for Cyberpunk on Stadia. I think it's generally assumed that this will be released on the same day. And then if you look, they had sent in a screenshot. It's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC April 16th. No mention of Stadia there. And if you look at the actual website for cyberpunk.net, now, sure enough, if you look at this, that's the wrong button. I'm sorry. If you look at this, it says, wow, I look really yellow when I've got this screen up. But it says Xbox One, PS4, PC, Stadia. Those are all listed there on the site. And then you click pre-order. It just says Xbox One, PS4, PC. So I think there is very good evidence that suggests that we won't be getting Cyberpunk 2077 alongside these other games. And the Twitter canned responses did lead some customers to think that it was happening, and then they tried to clean it up, but they've got to slow down and make sure that they've got the right information before they hit that post button. Darren Polk says, why would you pre-order anything on Stadia? I don't know. It just feels good to have things done ahead of time so that you can just walk in the room and hit a button. But I get what you're saying. You're right. Lloyd, what's your thoughts on this Cyberpunk stuff?
I don't know. I'd love to think that Cyberpunk is going to come day and date with everything. But that CD Projekt is going to be working with Google to hype it up and release a press release or whatever. The fact that you can't do pre-orders on Stadia right now is probably the reason why they don't have that listed as a pre-order thing. So it's not necessarily doesn't necessarily mean that the game is going to come later after all the other ones. It's just we don't know. I'm hopeful that we get a Stadia Connect soon, and maybe they give us some of that information because it would be really great to play Cyberpunk day and date with all the other consoles. Because I believe Stadia is going to be where I'm going to be playing that because I want all the pixels, I want all the HDs because my PC probably would not be able to run it and capture video of the game running at the same time. So doing it on Stadia, I think, is going to be the best way for me to experience it.
So do you when do you think we're going to get a Connect? I think that we both made the mistake of calling it a Direct today. It's a Connect.
Did I say Direct?
I think we both did.
Dang. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm going to look at a calendar right now. So it's the 12th. We have 2 more weeks in January, maybe last week of January, to kind of lay out what's coming for February, what's coming for us, the founders, because our founder subscription is going to lapse on February 19th or 20th or 21st or whenever you got your code. So they have they have about a month, I guess, between now and when that starts happening. So they have to do a news drop before then, I would think, because they want to encourage people like us. Well, not us, because we're going to do it, but people are founders like us to continue with the pro subscription, to keep evangelizing the service to our friends and talking to people and saying, hey, all you people that say Stadia sucks, have you actually played it? No? Here's a buddy pass. You can play it yourself and let us know, instead of just spouting out garbage that you've for a service you've never used. They want that to continue happening. But they're going to have to give us information if they want that to happen. So I'm hopeful that like the 28th of January, the Tuesday, or the 29th, or even the 30th on a Thursday, we'll get a big dump of news from Google as part of a not direct, and then we'll be able to shout from the rooftops and do a really great podcast on February 2nd talking about all that news.
All right. So, look, we've spent most of the episode talking about the fact that there's no news to talk about, and there's a little bit. There's a little bit of news, not no news, but none of it's coming from Google really. There's a little bit of news. We'll get to that news after we take a break and hear from a sponsor. So stick around, and when we come back, we've got some news for you.
The Atari 2600. Now get up to $30 in rebate offers plus a free Pac-Man.
All right, we are back, and listen, the next time that you play Stadia, you could be playing it on your phone. What? Lloyd, have you read this? Have you seen this?
Yeah, it's I don't know, interesting. We know Google, and you said I think in the pre-show perfectly. We know Google is a large company and they have many customers, and when they make a change, they don't just like making a change. They like to do what you call A/B testing, where you isolate a certain percentage of your customers. So if you have 1,000 people coming to your website every hour, you say, okay, I want 5 of those 1,000 to get this version of the website, and the other 995 are going to get this version of the website, the standard version. And then you look at the performance of those 5 people. You maybe run extra logging on those 5 people. You maybe send a survey to those 5 people, but you're basically carving out a little chunk of your customer base to look at something new, a different design, a different feature, a different layout, something like that. So it seems like Google is doing A/B testing with their Stadia app. So if you have your Stadia app on your phone and you're on Android, when you first boot up the app, maybe to go to the store or whatever you're doing with it, instead of choose where to play, you're now getting a little button that says this device, and if you click that, you can play that game on the device that you're on, even if you don't have a Pixel phone. It's happening very randomly, very sporadically, but it just shows that maybe they're doing some testing with different models of Android phones to see how it performs on this Samsung phone or this HTC phone. If does HTC still make phones? I don't even know. Or all these other manufacturers and sizes and formats of Android phones. So that's probably what this is, since it's happening for some people and then they reboot the app and it's disappeared. They were just part of that A/B testing pool.
Exactly. So if you get it, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to continue to play on your phone. They're just testing to gather data. And that's what we've kind of been saying all along, is that Google is trying to gather as much data as they can to try and figure out what works best. How can we give our customers the best possible experience, which is why Lloyd and I have continually said that this right now, this time, even if Google doesn't say so, this time right now is a beta test. And we're just going to have to wait for the real deal, which comes out when Stadia Base comes out. And so between now and Stadia Base, expect more weird stuff like this to happen, because it means that Google is working on improving it and gathering information. So far, the phones that have seen this have been the OnePlus 6T, the Samsung Galaxy 10e, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. That's the thing about that, is that those are different generations of phones. So it's like they're not all the newest and hottest phones. Some of those are older phones, and I think that that's good. If you're an iPhone person like I am, like Lloyd is, we're gonna have to wait longer. I think we're gonna have to wait a lot longer, and that's okay. I'm a patient person. I'll be honest. I don't want to play on my phone anyway. I want to play on my iPad. I want to play on my iPad a lot, like, because it's a big screen. I don't want to play on a little screen. I want to play on a big screen. But I think that this is something that you're going to see more of down the road. And, we'll probably, I think that we've also seen some experimenting that they've done where it's worked in Chromium, which is, I can never remember how this works. Chromium, Lloyd, do you want to tackle the Chromium thing?
What aspect? What Chromium is?
Yeah, just to explain what it is in the fewest number of words.
Well, it's just, I mean, Google Chrome is a web browser. Chromium is taking aspects of that and using it for either a faster web browser or a OS or other various things. They basically took that project and made it more, but it's kind of like the test suite for a lot of other features that are coming. Test branch.
And it's been showing up in some versions of Chromium as well. So keep that in mind. And, just be aware that the next time you grab your phone, it might say play here. Do you often use your phone to start a game?
I don't think I've ever used my phone to start a game because there's no reason on iOS, because there's no hope that I'll get A/B tested into playing the game on my phone. So I just use my Chromecast Ultra, or just go to stadia.google.com.
Yeah, I feel like the only time that I have used my phone to start a game is if I am switching screens. Like if I'm going from, like maybe I'm playing on here and I'm going from one Chromecast to another Chromecast. I just get up from this room and go in the next room and grab my phone and say play on this screen instead, and then it'll ask me to repair my controller, which I do, and then I just keep going from there. But it works, like switching screens works really, really well. It's one of my favorite things about Google Stadia. By the way, if you didn't see it already, I posted a video this week called the 10 things that make Stadia great, or something like that. So check that out over on our YouTube channel. Farming Simulator. It's not a game for me. It's not even a little bit of a game for me. But they did say they were interviewing VentureBeat, and they said Stadia. There we go. They said that even though it was one of the first games that launched on Stadia, they are already the person who was doing the interview said that they already have seen a good return on their investment. Now, there are going to be people out there who see this story and they're going to say, "See, making a game on Stadia is super profitable. Everybody's going to make games on Stadia." And while I do think that making a game for Stadia is going to be a profitable thing, and making a game on Stadia is going to be a good source of profit, just because this company made a profit from theirs in such a short time doesn't mean that that's going to happen with every game. It really depends on what your game is like. Now, perhaps this game was made in such a way that it makes porting very, very easy. I mean, that's a possibility. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody... Here's a thing that happens in the Stadia community, and I don't quite understand this. It happens maybe it happens in all communities, but anytime that there's anything that is good that is said about the thing that community is built around, everybody takes that good thing and they're like, "See, all of you people who don't like this thing that I like are wrong." And then anytime that anybody says anything bad about this thing that said community is built around, everybody who doesn't like the thing that the community likes, they all say, "See, this thing is a pile of crap." There are shades of gray, people. And I don't think that people understand that. It's just crazy to me. What do you think about this story, Lloyd?
I think that they made a deal with Google to give the game away as part of the Pro membership, and that was lucrative for them because they got instant purchases from a bunch of other people. Like we never know what these deals are. It's been going on with Xbox. It's been going on with PlayStation for a long time, where people are able to to get someone's game for free. And it's like, well, how does that work? What kind of money is involved here? So obviously Google cut them a really good deal, whether it's per download or here's a lump sum of money to pay for your costs in porting it over to Stadia and supporting us. And that was lucrative for them. That paid off. Whether that means that they sold enough copies prior to that to be to be solvent, to be in the black, not in the red, probably not. Not true. Not something that is really true. But the fact that they were able to cut a deal with Google was lucrative to them, which is a really good thing.
It is a really good thing. And I'm always happy when a developer is successful, because that means that they're going to be around to make more games, which is always a good thing. Not
right.
that Farming Simulator is something that I'm interested. I did a first look on our YouTube channel. I played it for a little bit. I can understand why people love that game. I am not one of those people. Although I also did not play with mouse and keyboard, and I would bet that playing it on mouse and keyboard would be infinitely better, only because playing it on a controller, I felt like I was playing with one hand tied behind my back. There was so many different menus, and I had to push different button combinations to switch tabs and stuff. It was very confusing, and I bet using mouse and keyboard is a lot easier. That being said, happy for them to be successful. And somebody is asking in chat, William Mellard, it says, is there a date for the Tequila Works interview? So for those of you that don't know, and again, I'm jumping around in the show notes, but for those of you that don't know, oh gosh, let me bring it up real quick before I forget. Tequila Works tweeted out this in response to @TheShadowGrim on Twitter. They tweeted out, oops, I just clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. They tweeted out, hey, people, what do you think? Should we participate in Stadiacast podcast and talk about Guilt the game? And they did this because Shadow Grim said, my new goal, convince Guilt the game to be on Stadiacast with Dasme and Run Jump Stomp. Would love to hear more about the game, the experience of developing for Stadia, and anything else that they would like to discuss. The show is awesome, and I'm sure it would help drive sales. So first off, thank you to Shadow for kind of starting this. And thank you to Tequila Works for considering it. We don't have anything to share at this time. We're currently talking to them and trying to figure things out, like when can we do this? Anytime that you are talking to a company, things get much more complicated with scheduling, especially across time zones. And I don't think that they're in the United States or Canada, are they?
I don't believe so. I think they're in the UK somewhere, I believe.
Oh, I thought that they were in Portugal or something.
Could be.
I think that they do a lot of Spanish stuff.
Wait. Tequila Works.
Google is Google. I said Google's going to Lloyd it. Lloyd's going to Google it. He's going to Google it right now.
Oh, yeah. It is a Spanish. I thought they were called Tequila Works, but they weren't in Spain. But they're in Madrid, apparently, according to this. The headquarters in Madrid, Spain.
Yeah, there you go. So that's going to make things even more difficult for us to work out a time when we can get together and have a discussion with them, because they are many, many time zones away. Damn you, curvature of the Earth. This would be easier if Earth was flat like all those idiots believe. And yes, I called you an idiot if you think Earth is flat. And I don't really care. I don't really care. So you can be mad at me if you want. All right. Anyway, so no, we don't have any information to share at this point. Talks are still ongoing. We're just happy that they would even consider talking to us. So that's really awesome. All right. Stadia 2P games. This has been around for a couple weeks now, and Lloyd and I keep meaning to talk about it, but we never do. There was a mention of this Stadia 2P games on a website, and I was like, Stadia 2P games? Usually it's Stadia Games and Entertainment. And I recently saw that, what's her name? Kim Swift, who is a game designer. She worked on Portal, which is a game that I just adore.
Yep.
She was a leader on Portal, excuse me, and team lead. She also worked on Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. She worked on Star Wars Battlefront 2, which, say what you want about Star Wars Battlefront 2. That game is awesome. EA almost destroyed it because of their microtransaction nonsense, but the game itself is awesome. And what she did on that game was she was a level design director for the single player campaign. So that's actually my favorite part of the game, was the single player campaign. I had a lot of fun playing that. So Kim Swift now works at Google Stadia for Stadia Games and Entertainment. But I saw a thing that about Stadia 2P games. Have you seen this around, Lloyd?
I've seen people talk about it on Twitter and even the Reddit, and I haven't been able to actually even really make sense of what they're talking about. I mean, it could be just something, maybe that's an internal code for it. I don't think they're talking about 2-player games, but maybe they are. But I do think it's pretty very interesting that Kim Swift has left her studio to join Stadia, because that means that both Jade Raymond and her have left EA Motive in Montreal to join Google Stadia, most likely in Montreal as well, which I find very very interesting that they're coming together. There must be something big on the horizon from that studio.
Well, the reason that everybody is talking about 2P games is because they had this announcement of the Game Developers Choice Award nominees, and then they mentioned Kim Swift in this article. This is from HollywoodReporter.com, and it says the awards ceremony is set to be held March 18th at the San Francisco Moscone Center during GDC. Kim Swift, game design director of Google's Stadia 2P games, will host. So that's why people are talking about this 2P games. I'm wondering if, like, maybe Stadia Games and Entertainment is the overall, like, company, and then all of the different compartments that people are going to be working at, like maybe the one that's in I don't know, Tokyo is Stadia 3P games, and you know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't understand why they would have said Stadia 2P games, unless maybe just Hollywood Reporter didn't know what they were talking about. But I saw it in a lot of places, not just Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, it could be that could be the code name for the Montreal studio before they announced that it was Stadia Montreal Studios or whatever. Maybe that was the code word for it. So they're wanting someone to talk on stage, and they're like, "Well, where are you working right now?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm working for Google, for Stadia 2P," and it's like, "Oh, Stadia 2P games," and maybe that was just a misquote, and that's how this all happened. Or it could just be we don't know yet because they haven't announced anything at E3 or whatever. Maybe there's some grander announcements that are coming, but it's probably just someone got something wrong, I would think.
So Terza Reactor saying they're in charge of second party games. Read her job description. Okay, I get that. That's fine. But listen, Google, if you don't want this kind of confusion, then give us other stuff to talk about. Because now we're reaching.
Yeah.
We're reaching.
Yeah. That totally makes sense, because her experience, game design director, Stadia Games and Entertainment, creating cutting edge experiences and working with amazing industry partners to bring quality content to the Stadia platform. So there you go. That could be second party. So it's not 2P, it's 2NDP. But they cut the ND out, I guess. There must have been under NDA.
All right. So
that was terrible. I'm sorry.
Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
I said that was sorry. That was terrible. I apologize for that.
Listen, you're Canadian. Apologizing is what you do.
And I'm a dad, so dad jokes are also what I do.
That's right. Dad jokes and apologies afterwards for everybody. All right. Listen, every single week we have what we call the crowd play, where we talk about what you want us to talk about. So we're going to start with our super chats, and then if there's time, we'll get to the stuff that I put in the show notes. But we're going to start with the super chats real quick. I want to thank Stoyan Gadrov for becoming a member. I want to thank Vinny for becoming a member. And let's start with the first super chat. Comes from Anthony Talcott, and they said, I'm bringing it up on screen here, Busy, can't watch the show, sad face. I hope the next Connect shows features and not games. Stadia should embrace its uniqueness. Well, how do you feel about that? Do you think that they should focus on the features or showing off new games, Lloyd?
All of the above. I think we need to know new features. We need to know when base is launching, what's happening with the current founders. Is there going to be any sort of last hurrah for the founders? We need to know when other Stadia specific features are coming. We need to know when it's launching on more platforms. Like there's a lot of hardware and software based things that aren't game related. But then we also need to know that Stadia isn't stagnant. And it's not just here's the 27 games and those are the ones you're going to be playing. Have fun with those 27 games. We need to know what's happening with other game announcements, other game releases, when we're going to be expecting other things coming to Stadia. So I don't think it should be an either or. I think it needs to be an all. We need to know all this stuff because you need to generate hype for people that maybe aren't convinced that Stadia is going to work for them. You need to get them excited enough to maybe look for a buddy pass to then take that, play it, and see if it works in their network environment.
And I agree with you. It should not be an either or. But for me personally, I think what would benefit for me personally, I would prefer to hear more about features myself.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, what I think would benefit Stadia as a whole more would be more games. Like right now, I think the biggest complaint that people have is that there's so few games on Stadia, and a lot of those games are games that have been that people have played other places. Now, that doesn't bother me because the games that I'm playing on Stadia, I had not played other places with the exception of Final Fantasy 15. Like I'd never played Darksiders, any Darksiders game before, and I finished Darksiders Genesis. I never played Guilt before. I never played anything from Tequila Works before, but I played the hell out of Guilt and I finished that game. And Bill doesn't finish games, people. I never played Thumper. So like all these games that I've been playing, I have never played a Borderlands. So all these games I've been playing, they're all new to me. Now, I can't just talk about what's best for me. I have to talk about what's best for everybody. And I also have to admit that the games that are available on Stadia have been available for the most part on other platforms for an extended period of time before that. So a lot of people have already played that. And that's why so many people aren't excited about Stadia. It's because, well, I already played that. I want to play something new. I want to play something else. And that doesn't mean exclusives. Would exclusives help? Yes. I still don't think that they are 100% necessary in order for success, especially when it's free later on this year. But for games to come out day and date with Stadia, that's what really needs to happen. I think that's a very important thing, is for those games to come out day and date. And that's why it'll be too bad if when Cyberpunk 2077 does not come out day and date with Stadia. For me, that's too bad. Anyway, Anthony Talcott, thank you very much for the super chat. Daniel Brennan said, when are more games coming? That's all that I want. Well, thank you very much for supporting the channel, Daniel. We don't have an answer for that. Hopefully very soon. We lost Lloyd. His Discord just quit out, but he'll be back any second now. In the meantime, I'm going to hit this button until he comes back. And then I got to fix things, and he's got to fix his camera, and the show must go on. But Daniel Brennan asked, when are we getting more games? That's exactly what we were just talking about. When are more games going to come? Not soon enough. I mean, they can have all the games that they want right now, but for me, it's really not going to make much of a difference because I'm too busy playing the games, or not playing the games that I already have. Any thoughts on that before we move on to Joel Thompson's?
I missed all that you said because of everything breaking here. I thought I had my camera problem fixed, or my Discord problem fixed. I guess I didn't.
Well, just more games coming. When? Any thoughts?
I think we're going to be getting a steady release over the next few months. We're not going to get a flood. People have to realize that when a new console launches, a new platform launches, that you get X number of games, whether it's 10, whether it's 5, whether it's 20. Stadia launched with more games than most new systems launch with. So we've already gotten the more than the 2 or 3 ones.
But Lloyd, those games we already played someplace else.
Exactly, right. It's funny. People want more, and then they get more, and it's like, but I don't want those ones. I want ones I don't even know about. But and then you get games you don't even know about. It's like, well, I don't want those ones. I want more Call of Duties and Final Fantasies. You can't please the internet, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know what? I wasn't going to talk about this today. I may do a video about this more in the future, but really quickly, because I don't want to harp on this. The Xbox Series X, it was just announced that will not have any Xbox Series X exclusive games for an extended period of time. I think that they said more than a year before
From
that.
Microsoft Studios.
Yes, that's what do you mean? You mean that Microsoft Studios said that, or are you thinking that third-party games could be exclusives?
That's what it means. So Microsoft Studios said that they're not going to be creating any Xbox Series specific exclusives. That any exclusive that comes to Xbox Series X is also going to be playable on Xbox One currently. So if you have a current Xbox One, you'll be able to play those games at a lower fidelity. It doesn't mean that third parties can't do that, but from Microsoft Studios, that's what they're doing.
Right. Okay. And people are going to look at that and they're going to say, "Oh man, Xbox Series X is dead because it doesn't have any exclusives." Well, but you can still play the games that are available in other places. Now people will say, "Well, why would I upgrade then?" I don't know. Some people will upgrade. That's the same thing as like, all right, my computer can play all of these games. Why would I buy a new graphics card for it? I don't know. I can't think of any reasons. But anyway, Joel Thompson sent in a super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. They said multiplayer is dead because there's too many games. So there's not enough games. There's too many games. You can't please everybody. He does have a point. Like we kind of talked about, or I talked about this recently, the idea that Destiny 2 is having population problems because people stopped playing Destiny 2 to go play other things. Right. And overall, people are saying that there is an issue with this idea of multiplayer on Stadia because we don't have cross-platform and the population is so low. And my response to that is that it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. When Stadia Base comes out, the population for Stadia is going to explode. And I know that there's going to be people say, well, why would they bother? My guess is that we'll have demos. They'll have a demo and people will jump in and they'll see that it works. Because for the most part, people who've tried it have said, oh, it works pretty damn well. Okay, I can see how this is going to go. Lloyd, what do you think about the idea that multiplayer is dead because there's too many games? Although I think Joel Thompson was being facetious. I hope.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of what it is. Like we were given Destiny 2 as founders, and if you have a buddy pass, this is a game that has been out for years, but it's also a game that's been reborn with the new version, a lot new content, but it's also free everywhere. So you have 40 or 100, 120 million PlayStation 4s or whatever the latest number that Sony trotted out. So those PlayStation 4s can download Destiny 2 and play there. Xbox has however many million units install base. You can play Destiny 2 there. You can download it on PC for free and play Destiny 2 there. So, well, on Stadia, we get it for free with all of the additional content. If people just want to play Crucible or jump into to do the first raid or to go through some of the story missions, they can play all that stuff for free on every other console, which there's already 150 million of them, plus all the PCs that can access it already out in the wild. So having Destiny 2 for free on Stadia isn't necessarily a big carrot on the end of a stick to get people to try Stadia. It's just a nice bonus for people that have Stadia currently. So to see their player base dropping, it just means that if you want to play Destiny 2, your friends are probably playing on another console, so you're going to play other things on Stadia. It doesn't mean that there's fewer people playing on Stadia. It just means there's fewer people playing Destiny 2, which is the one game that you can really track by looking at the number of people that are in matchmaking.
Yes, I agree with that. And I also I want to say that load times on Stadia are infinitely better. So
Oh, yeah.
if you're going to be waiting, you could be waiting for a Crucible match to start, or you could be waiting for your game to load. You're going to
Right.
have to wait no matter what. And this is the same problem that happens with every new platform. And people forget that because they haven't seen a new platform in a very long time. We've
Right.
had, Xbox 360 to Xbox One. That's not a new platform. That's a continuation of an old platform. This is a brand new platform, and we haven't seen a brand new platform in the industry since the Xbox, the original Xbox with the Duke controller that had the black and white buttons on it. So I think that that's something that people tend to forget. You want to read
Right.
this next one?
Yes, let me pull up my page.
You can't see it. I'm sorry. King Sire says, first off, they did a super chat, so thank you for that. They said, since most agree that Stadia is somewhere between console and PC, I believe their game prices should be as well. What are your thoughts on that, Lloyd?
They are somewhere between PC and console. They're at the very edge of the of the scale, which is the console price. So they're charging console prices on this closed platform because they want to scrape out as much money as possible. I don't think a lot of PC game makers are really happy that things are so cheap on Steam necessarily. They'd rather get the full $60 for the retail game, but they understand that that's not really possible because of the way the PC ecosystem works. Well, I'd love to see cheaper games. That's what Stadia Pro sales are for. Getting Borderlands 3 for $40 Canadian instead of $80 Canadian was a good deal to me. Hopefully that will continue for us for our $10 a month that we're going to be paying to get better streaming and better features and all that other stuff.
Are you going to continue to, because I know that you don't have a 4K screen, so are you going to continue to subscribe to Stadia Pro? 'Cause I know I am, because the deals are awesome.
Yeah, see, the deals are really the only thing that's going to keep me there, and the freebies. Like, we'll have to see what's happening with the free games. I haven't really played any of the free games other than Destiny. I like Tomb Raider. I looked at. I haven't played it. None of the games have been really super exciting to me. But we only have like 30 games on the platform, so to give a free one from that from that pool, I know what all the games are. Hopefully in the future we'll get some exclusives or first launch on the system and it's a Stadia Pro game. That would be fantastic, and that'll keep me paying my, I think it's like $14 a month up here in Canada instead of the $9.99 US. So it's gonna take some stuff to keep me paying, because that's a lot of money for a service that I'm not really getting the technological benefit from. But if the deals are good and if the free games are good, I'm gonna continue paying for Stadia Pro. And if they throw out a 1-year membership that I can just go to the store and buy a card, I'll just go buy that, because then that's a one and done. I've solved my needs for the next year kind of thing.
Exactly. We also had some people who tweeted some stuff in, and I got an email, but we really don't have time to get to that today because of those awesome super chats. So thank you very much for supporting the channel, and maybe in the future we'll get to these questions from Twitter. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us, hanging out with me, hanging out with Lloyd. You can follow the show on Twitter at Stadiacast. You can follow me at Run Jump Stomp. You can follow Lloyd over at Dasme. That's DASME. Be sure to use the hashtag Stadiacast so that we can easily find your tweets. You can also join our Stadiacast Discord. It's called the Nerd Nest. You can head on over to runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And while you're already joining Discords, Lloyd has his community Discord over at Resd.tv/Discord. That's REZD.tv/Discord. The music you're about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. Check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Lloyd, you have a good one, sir.
You too, Bill. Take it easy, everybody.
There we go. That's the wrong button. There we go. All right, we're back. Thank you, guys.
We are. I'm in the middle of emailing Discord again to say that whatever fix they gave me didn't work. Man, it's so frustrating. And if it's buy a new camera, if that's the solution, I'll go today and buy a new camera. Like, I'm just so done with the Discord just crashing and reopening on a fresh Windows 10 install. Like, there's no reason why this should be happening.
What camera are you running?
I'm running a C920 still.
Oh, okay. All right. You should go get yourself a nice DSLR.
I don't have $1,000 to drop on a camera. I wish I did. I have a handful of dollar bills that I'm going to go to the store and say, please, sir, can I have a camera? And they're going to give me whatever thing is on sale. I think will be the way that'll work.
I have a cam link here that I'm no longer using because I upgraded my capture card to the Elgato 4K 60 Pro, and then my old capture card, I was like, wait a second, I could just leave that in and get rid of this thing. Which this is, do you remember every time that you and I would start a thing, my camera would turn green?
Yep.
It was because of this. So I'm gonna have to get rid of this. I mean, as somebody, unless you're doing a podcast where you're using Discord, this thing works wonderful. And well, actually, this thing works great. It would also work as a capture card too, I think. I mean, I suppose you could plug a console in with this, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I never even thought of using a camera right into a capture card. That makes total sense. I'm currently using an HT60 S as my capture card for my console, and I'm so tempted just to get an internal capture card and then free up a USB slot and all that stuff. I'm all about simplifying my setup, and I really need to simplify it more, apparently. Like when we first started talking, my camera flashing green and then coming back, it's a bug where if my computer goes to sleep, I have to unplug my camera, my USB camera, and then replug it in. That's the only way to fix it. And it's like, why is that a thing? I never had that with my old C920, which I had for 5 years with zero problems until it finally died from old age. This is a new one that now is giving me all these other problems. So I need to maybe get something that isn't a Logitech camera, something cheap, and maybe it's the Logitech camera that is causing Discord to crash. I have no freaking clue.
It might also be their software, like Logitech, like the C920. Let's think about this for a second. You said that you had another C920 and it died from old age, and then you bought another C920. So how long ago did they make the C920? And with the exception of the C922, I don't think that there's been any upgrades from them in the world of the webcam for ages, like a really long time.
Yeah, no, I even tried not installing Logitech's terrible software on the system to see if maybe it was the Logitech software that was causing a crash, and then I wasn't able to get my camera to look good in Discord. I could get it to work okay for my OBS because you have OBS controls to do that. I think I just need to walk away from Logitech and try a camera that isn't a Logitech camera and see if maybe that is part of the thing. But what would solve all this is if Discord actually did, the normal developer thing and create logs where I can actually look at and see what the crash is. But yeah, it's not happening. CMR is saying, according to the Discord Reddit, a lot of users reported C920 makes them crash for the past 4 months. Really? Okay, well, I've talked about the C920 when I emailed Discord, the Discord support, and they never said anything about that. So yeah, that does it. I'm gonna do some research and order a new webcam that hopefully won't crash all the time, because this is so frustrating.
I will say this: getting support through email is awful. And I almost, like, whenever I'm dealing with a company that has a Discord, that is always a better experience as far as getting support for, hey, here's a problem that I'm having. I post it, and almost every time they're like, oh, hey, we'll be right with you. And then I can't remember which company it was. I'm bringing up Discord. Oh, I can't bring up Discord because I'm talking to you, but I had gone into their Discord and they had set up a bot so that when I posted my question, it assigned me a ticket and then put me in my own chat room and they said somebody will answer your question soon. And then it was like a couple of hours later, I got a message in that channel that said, they were like, "Hey, I'm here to help you now." And I was like, "Holy cow, this is great." So then I just started talking to him on my phone, and they were like, "Here, go try this." And I went into my office and did what they said, and it worked. And I was like, that was a wonderful friggin' experience. And they Discord is an amazing thing, and people need to use it for their support, and apparently Discord needs to use it for their support as well.
Nice. So you're saying that Discord has their own Discord? That's mind-blowing, man. I got to look into that.
You got to do the joke that I always make, the old meme.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Discords, so we created a Discord from Discord so you could Discord while you talk to Discord. I don't even know how that would go. But yeah,
that's pretty
like that.
close. That was pretty good.
It's good. Awesome.
Andy Morph says Defo SLR. I think he meant DSLR. You can get Panasonic GH4 at a fair price on eBay. Yeah, I'm using a Sony A6000 for my camera, but it the Sony A6, like this camera I got for $200, which was an insanely low price. So not everybody's going to be able to get that price. Like, if I did not find this, I would have not have a DSLR for my camera, because it is prohibitively expensive.
Yeah. No, I looked at DSLRs, and as much as I'd love to, I can't justify spending, like, because prices in Canada for photo equipment, it's more than exchange. So our dollar's worth, say, 74 cents US. Well, the exchange rate isn't 25%. It's more like 40 to 45% in some instances. So a $400 camera in the States is $650 here. And that's just the bare body. That's not the lens.
Yeah.
And $1,000 for a camera, I can't justify it when I'm just using it for talking over Discord. If I was taking it and then doing some filming, maybe that would be something to justify. So I'm gonna look into different webcams, I guess, and find something that works. But when you do a search for webcam, pretty much the only one on the market these days is Logitech, and they have umpteen number of versions. But I don't want Logitech, so I'm gonna have to find something else that is gonna work. Because if other Discord people are noticing that it's a C920 thing, I don't even have to keep troubleshooting anymore. I'll just replace my camera, and that should fix all my problems.
Yeah, that's true. Although, check Facebook Marketplace for. I hate Facebook. I don't use it, but I use it for Facebook Marketplace, and that's how I got my camera. So, and you live like in a city. You live in like a real city. You might be able to find somebody who's looking to get rid of a DSLR for cheap, like maybe, or maybe another webcam for cheap too. Maybe you can spend $20 on a webcam instead of whatever.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to do some research, folks. Hopefully by this time next week, this won't be a problem, but I think it might take me a little longer to find a replacement, unfortunately.
Oh, no problem, Ellison. Thank you for sending the email in. All right. Well, Lloyd, are you going to be streaming later today?
I hope so. That's my goal, is to record a bunch of videos for Stadia. I want to do some first looks. I want to do some first looks for Rezzed, and I might do some streaming later. It all depends on what the family plans are going to turn out to be. But sadly, I won't be playing any Borderlands, so I won't be beating the game anytime soon.
Oh no! All right. Well, I think that it's time for us to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. You guys are fantastic. I really do appreciate every time that we hit that go live button and you guys show up. If you haven't already, I should have done this during the show. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help. Hit that thumbs up button. And then if you want to get notified every single time that we go live with a new thing, or where we post a new video, which Lloyd is going to be posting a video later today, maybe if he has time, about what game are you thinking of doing?
Red Dead 2.
Oh, nice. So he's going to be maybe posting a first look at Red Dead 2 later on today. If you haven't already hit that thumbs up, turn on the notifications so that you get notified when he posts that. and you could be the first one to see it. And you know what? Maybe in the comments he might put a buddy pass of that video. Who knows? He might
Maybe.
not. I don't know. I'm not speaking for him.
There's so many possibilities. The world is a source of endless possibilities and buddy passes.
Endless possibilities and buddy passes. All right, everybody, take it easy. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Later, folks.